Hey, it's Mark Bergin from Bleav in Steelers. Before Father's Day, I thought it'd be a good idea to have a Throwback Thursday episode. In June of 2020, Ike Taylor and I interviewed the one and only primetime Deion Sanders. And we talked about how he celebrated his Father's Day in 2020, his aspirations to become a college football coach. This was before he became head coach at Jackson State. And he also talked about his son, Shedeur Sanders, how he scheduled a workout with Tom Brady. It's a really entertaining interview. It's one of my favorites in my entire career, and it's never appeared in video form on this feed. So I thought I'd share it with the listeners and the viewers of the Bleav in Steelers show. Before we get to the interview, today's episode of Bleav in Steelers is brought to you by BetOnline.ag. As always, we're in the NBA Finals, into the Stanley Cup Final. And if you want to place a bet on any of the action, BetOnline.ag is the place to do it. Use our promo code Bleav. That's BLEAV. You can see that on your screen right now to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. Now to our conversation with primetime Deion Sanders from June 2020.
You got a good white co-host. That means you hit the right way.
Yeah. We record right now, Mark?
Yeah, I just started it up. We can get rolling if you guys are ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Welcome to the Bleav in Steelers podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network. I'm Mark Bergin, joined as always by two-time Super Bowl champion and 12-year veteran of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Ike Taylor. And Ike, today's guest is a man that needs no introduction.
Right. You don't need no introduction when you just say prime. When your nickname Prime Time, you don't need no intro. So just want to welcome. I call him Unc. I worked with him for a couple of years, but I've been following him for a long time. He had a 30 for 30. Of course, he's in the Hall of Fame. But again, no intro. Some might know his government name is Deion Sanders, but I think the whole world knows Prime Time. So, Unc, man, how you been, baby?
Man, I am wonderful. I can't complain, man. I just got out of my high school practice. We had wonderful practice today. Back in the country, I'm country prime. That's why I'm all bearded up. But I do plan on shaving within the next few days. I really do.
Why you gonna let it go, man? I like that look.
I can't do it because I got to look young and spry. It takes away from the mystique, This is a country look. I got to get back into the formal thing. This ain't no quarantining no more. We on the move now. So
look, Uncle Prime, man, I be saying I thought I had a big house at one point in time. But I see, man, you done built the goddamn resort.
No, you know what, man? My last home was like 3 times this size. So actually I downsized. But now I just spread everything out, and I'm in the country. See, I'm a land freak, man. When I played for the Falcons and Braves simultaneously, this gentleman allowed me to come to his property to get away. You got to understand, when you in the spotlight in one city all year, it's kind of hard to hide. So the gentleman invited me to his crib, and it was on 1,000 acres, man, and everything was spread out. He had several lakes, and that blew my mind. That was in the early 90s, and ever since then, I've always owned at least 100 acres, man. So I'm a land freak. I love peace and serenity. I love the fish. Every day that ends with a Y. And that's my life. I got a city swag, but I'm a country boy, man.
Deion, I gotta ask, crazy. How did you celebrate Father's Day yesterday?
Well, Father's Day for me didn't go well. I have 5 wonderful kids, all in marriage. Let me say that, because when a brother say he got 5 kids, y'all start assuming things. So all confines of marriage. So I got 5 wonderful kids. Now, my one who's most problematic, Shiloh, that plays for South Carolina, he called me first at like 7:30, because see, Sunday mornings is mow day for me. What I mean by that, I mow the grass for like 5 hours, and the kids know that. So he called me 7-something in the morning. I said, you know what? You the number 1 seed. When he's home, we don't get along. But when he's in college, he's my favorite son. So he called me first. Shedeur, who looks just like me, he called me second. My daughter, Deandra, my oldest daughter, called me third. My youngest daughter called me fourth. And my oldest son called me fifth. When you call me fifth, you out of the wheel for at least a year. Out of the wheel. He's out of the wheel. And
Hey,
one came over where Shedeur lives with me, so he ain't had no choice but to come over. And he
Right.
came in like 7-something. Happy Father's Day. Father's Day gone, man.
I saw
That's nighttime. You about to go to sleep.
Right.
Deion, I saw on Twitter too, someone gifted their dad your jersey, and then
Was that awesome?
you called that person too. What was that like?
Hey, did you hear about that?
No, I saw his dad crying, but I saw you respond back, man.
Oh,
Give me his
no.
number ASAP.
Oh, they hit him up, and he told me a story about when I was downtown one time. He said you had a black Acura NSX. I know he wasn't lying. He said, man, I ran into you downtown. We kicked it for an hour. He said, man, I remember the plane. He told me the clothing store we were at. He said how we kicked it for an hour. And he said, man, I've been his dude ever since. So we had a long, wonderful talk. And our team goes there to play in September. And when we go back, he and I are going to hook up. And he's going to come to the game. I'm going to have him on the sideline with me.
You're a good dude. That's just who you is. So, speaking of simultaneously, you did play 2 professional sports. How hard was it for you not only to be a Hall of Fame guy in the football, but just play in the same city? You was playing for the Falcons, the football team. Then you wind up right after the game, you wind up going to baseball for the Atlanta Braves. How hard was that?
I'm not going to say it was hard because this is what I did. It's the only thing I knew. You know, since I was 6 years old, I only knew 2-3 sports. I hooped too when I was a shorty. But I didn't know no other way. So when I got to the professional levels, to have someone tell me what you can't do just because they can't do it, I ain't even to comprehend that nonsense. So it was just a way of life for me, and people made a big deal out of it, which I couldn't understand because that's the way I got down. I love participating in multiple things simultaneously.
So a lot of things nowadays, this young generation, you know, Instagram and being flashy and change, but training camp, you took it to a whole nother level. You had your own golf cart. You had the high white shoes. You had the prime Deion Sanders, the Cowboys blue and white. You had the bandana around your neck. You had the bandana around your head, man. Yeah. What inspired you to have that kind of style?
Man, I'm a Florida boy, man. You know how we get down from Florida, man. You already know. You can pick a Florida boy out of a lineup. You have a lineup of 100 men, and you can pick a Florida boy. I don't care what ethnicity. A Florida boy is a Florida boy. So that came along with the package, man. And I was just having fun. Never disrespected my opponent. Never badmouthed anyone. I was just out there having fun, enjoying life, enjoying the game.
Deion, I've got to ask, why don't you think we see more 2-sport athletes, whether that's at the Division I level in college or professionally?
Because a lot of kids don't have the audacity. They don't have the audacity. They don't have the magnitude to say this is what I'm going to do. It's not egocentric, but it's sort of like that je ne sais quoi. Well, they don't believe like they once did. You let a man tell you that's a PE teacher / coach tell you what you can't do, or you could only do one thing in high school. I could tell you, we played multiple sports. We never stopped. If we didn't play for school, we played for the rec leagues. So we were always into something. It was never just one thing. Nowadays, you got to play baseball all year, or you got to play football all year, or you got to play basketball and AAU all year, or the girls got to play soccer all year, or you got to cheer. And everything is just taking all your time instead of allowing you to do multiple things. But yet and still, those same people telling you what not to do, they want multiple streams of revenue.
You're a parent. You got kids in college. You got a daughter who hooping. You got a son. He got his own clothing line. Your other son, he playing football at South Carolina. Your youngest son, you know, ain't no telling where he gonna be ranked and where he won't go. But the sky's the limit. He's playing quarterback right now. What would you tell these parents, man? You know, of just letting your kids, for the most part, as long as I've been watching you, your kids have played multiple sports.
Yeah, and they gotta have fun. The main thing is they gotta have fun. If it ain't fun, it ain't for you. You know, Snoop said ain't no fun if the homie can't have none. You know? Right. You got to have fun in whatever you do, and it's got to be you. Like when I got to the age that I had to tell my kids where they had to go and what they had to do, we can't do that. If you want to do that, we can continue to do that. So I never tell them what they have to do, but if they want to do it, I'm going to be there to support it 100%.
And your
How
son
was
Shedeur just worked out with Tom Brady too. How did that conversation start?
Tom. That's an attribute to who Tom is. Of course, he's a good friend of mine. But he and my son struck up this social media relationship. So we were heading down to Florida to take care of some business, and he said, "Dad, Tom wants me to come down on such and such date to throw with him." I said, "Excuse me, Tom? Who? Tom Brady wants you?" "Oh, we there. We there." It wasn't correct pronunciation of English. "We there, man. We there." So they struck up their own little thing, and I just accommodated my baby. Tom said be there at 8:30 that morning. He likes to work out early. We drove from I think it's Boca or Fort Lauderdale. Left at 4:00 in the morning. We got there like 7:30. We stopped at Waffle House, and we was there in the driveway at 8:15, ready.
That's
Ready
crazy.
to go.
So Shiloh, he played quarterback. I don't think, other than quarterback, I think
Shedeur plays quarterback.
quarterback. I'm sorry. Other than corner, I feel to believe that quarterback is the hardest position. And now you're coaching. So since you have been coaching your youngest son at this quarterback position, what do you see?
Let me tell you something. I can only give him certain things. Like I know football, like you studied your butt off like I did. So you know offenses. So
Right.
when I see the game the opposite way. Most people thought I see the game this way. I see the game the opposite way. So I'm the OC. I've been the OC my whole tenure as a youth coach as well as a high school coach. So I see the game because I know exactly what the defense has to do to stop us. And Jeff Blake has been his quarterback coach since he's been an 8th grader, and he has been phenomenal. But as far as calling the plays, then it's a luxury to have your quarterback live with the OC. So game plan, and you know what you think about this. So by the time I come home from work or whatever, he's like, "Dad, their left tackle is weak. We could go at the right corner, and the linebacker don't make good reads." So that gives me enough that I need right there. Now, when I go develop the game plan, I take those little things that he talked about and we build a game plan together, and he's able to dominate it, man. The kid, not because he's mine, the kid can flat out spin it. Yeah, I think he threw for 73, 74% completions last year, had 60 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. I mean, the kid can play the game, and he's very cerebral. He's smart. He thinks the game. So, he's already analyzing it. He knows how to check off, put us in different places. He's been playing quarterback his whole life. This ain't nothing he just jumped into. Day one, he's been a quarterback.
Would
baseball also. He plays
ahead.
baseball as well, right?
Yep, but that's one of those things he's like, "Dad, I don't want to play no more baseball."
Gotcha.
Cool,
Gotcha.
cool, son. You right.
Gotcha.
You right. We can kick that to the curb. Now, Shiloh is at South Carolina. He wants to play baseball because Shiloh has it a lot more than Shedeur at the sport of baseball. Shiloh can play any position, and he's probably my most athletic kid. But Shedeur is, I think, better suited at this time for that quarterback position and what he has going for it.
Okay.
Deion, would you consider the possibility of coaching your son in college? You said you've wanted to coach at the Division I level.
I'm going to coach at the Division I level.
Speak it into existence. I like that.
No, I know what I know that I know. This ain't speaking. This is real. Because I'm telling you something. I'm telling you inside something. I'm going to coach most likely 2021 at the college level for
Florida State.
I'm not going to say that. No, it's definitely not going to be Florida State.
Oh, so it's going to be a school in Texas then.
No, it's not going to be in Texas.
So if I'm an athletic director, why Deion Sanders? Why should I hire you to be the head coach of my program?
First of all, I will answer that question expeditiously that I have sat in all 3 seats. I've been the dad that you're trying to recruit the kid. I've been the kid that you've been recruiting, and I've been the coach that you're trying to get me to influence the kid to come to your school as well. So I've sat in every seat that you could possibly sit in. And I know this game really well, but more so than that, I know people. And I know kids, and I know their heartbeat, and I know parents, and you mesh all that together, and you're gonna have only thing you need then is consistency in what you do and who you are.
Why now? Why now?
Because the baby's about to go. I mean, I'm going to be an empty nester. I'm at the Shedeur. My youngest daughter is 16. She lives with her mother, so I'm an empty nester. That's why now. I got to do something, man. This is what I do. We used to talk about the kids and show each other film. Like that's what we love to do. I get to work and show me the film of the little man and his team that was dominating. So we used to live vicariously through our kids way back then, man. So I've continued to do so.
How you feel about this Black Lives Movement? Just your thoughts.
I feel strongly, but I just want people to understand what the movement is and not just be emotional and understand who's behind the movement. Like when I see a movement, I want to know, okay, what's the purpose? What's the goal? Who's behind it? Because I want to make sure all these boxes are checked, that when I jump all the way in, because I don't have to do nothing. You don't have to do nothing. We're extremists. When we jump into something, we fully jump in it. So when I jump in, I need to know what I'm jumping into. And that's something that I'm still trying to understand. What I'm totally jumping into. And I need a plan. I need a plan. Before I do anything, I'm a man I'm a thinker, man. I'm a move and a shake. I need a plan. I didn't build this house without a plan.
Right.
No, you got a plan. You didn't build your career. You didn't start this podcast without a plan, man. We got to have a plan in whatever we do. Because whatever my hands find to do, what the Bible says, I'm going to do it with all I got.
No question. Yeah. So Uncle Prime on his downtime, what do you like to do? When he ain't working with his kids, when he ain't mowing the lawn, what Uncle Prime like to do?
Fish. Every day that ends with a Y. I got a line in the water, man. I'm fishing.
That's therapy for you.
That's therapy. I love cutting grass too, but fishing is everything because we need challenges. We men need challenges. We got to challenge something. We got to compete in something. So me and my son go out there on the lake, or even if I'm by myself, man, it's being that fish. So I love fishing. I love the peacefulness and the serenity. I love water. Like every place I designed the house from, I got to see water, man, because there's something about the calmness and the peacefulness of the water that does something to me.
Did you build your man-made lake? So that's the lake you built?
No, the lake was here. The lake was here. I just enhanced it. And I got another one right on the other side.
Wait. What is that? What do you mean enhanced it? What does that mean?
You make it bigger. You make it suitable. Then I got another one that my son trained. See, we got two lakes. And like one is like 9 acres. The other one is like 8 acres. And he didn't know that his pipe sticking up in the main lake was connected to the runoff from the other lake.
Okay.
So he hit the pipe in the pontoon boat in the main lake and flooded the other lake. So 3 days later, we go on the other side of the property. I see 1 million buzzards with bibs on having a feast of fish. Because he's drained a whole lake and they just eating the fish like it's a buffet. It was straight Golden Corral out there, man. So I looked at him, I said, you know what? You're going to pay me back. You're going to pay me back. I said, you're going to go pro, and I know that. I Bleav you. Your first check, you paying me back. You're going to put it on another lake.
Deion,
the whole lake.
You collecting interest on that? You collecting interest on that or no?
Man, he drained the whole. You just imagine an 8-acre lake empty. That's what I got.
Wow.
He drained the whole lake. I try to look at it positively as a father would. Son, you know what? I'm glad you did that. Because first of all, you're paying me back. Second of all, now I could dig it deeper and clear it out and put crappie and bass, blue. I could do it the way I want to do it, and it's going to be even better. But you going to build that for me. You going to do that.
Hey, I see you got a chicken coop out there. And one thing about your chicken coop, man, them goddamn snakes.
Hey, man. See, when you come to the country, they teach you certain things. And I got some wonderful country folks out here. Like, okay, they say, okay, if you got this, you got to have that. For instance, if you have snakes in your chicken coop, which happens, they say, well, get you some guineas. It's a type of chicken that will keep the snakes away. but they forgot to tell you that the Coyotes gonna get the guineas. So you wake up in the morning and feathers all over the yard over here, feathers over there, and the guineas have been got. It was a bad night for the guineas because the guineas, they can't see at night. So if they got the cage, they can't see at night. So the Coyotes had a buffet of the guineas. Then you got wild hogs going crazy. They just root up your land and all that. So now you got to sit up there and shoot them.
Right.
It's on at night around here, man.
So it's a whole different world when it comes nighttime where you at.
Yeah. Then my caretaker just told me, the guy that was overworking on the new lake, the old lake that my son drained, he said, yeah, by the way, they say just by the prints on the side of the lake that's drained, it looked like you probably have a 4.5-foot gator on the I say 4.5-foot gator. You can't just tell a black man it's a 4.5-foot gator on the property. How you just gonna slip that in on me? I've been here for 3-4 years. I ain't never seen no gator. I said, who put a gator? So I went to the country. I said, why would a gator be on the property? The reason gators on the property because the gators eat the turtles. So you can't have, the turtles will take over your lake.
Okay.
So you get gators and they eat the turtles. But the problem is, how you gonna tell the gator to stop growing?
You can't.
You can't do it.
You can't.
So now we don't know if he's telling the truth or he's lying about a 4.5-foot gator on the property.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, I see you got that strip. It's something you probably was doing since you were small because you wasn't too far from the beach in Fort Myers. I've started it just from when I got to the league, and it's the sand pit. I don't think people appreciate how and what that sand pit do to your body as far as like working out.
Let me tell you something, man. That sand pit don't play. The sand pit is an equalizer, and if you want a real workout, a sand pit, not only a sand pit that you work out that's about that deep, with sand in it, the soft deep sand, but also I have one that we run up the hill.
Oh, that's
crazy. It's like a 55-yard steep run with sand in it. So we get it in out there, but a sand pit is something I did all the time coming up through Florida and when I was in the NFL. I trained in the sand pit.
Correct.
Yeah,
but ain't nobody train like you though, man. First of all, this dude here used to come to work, and he the only person come to work with workout clothes to work out at work. Who works out at work?
I got it. Still to this day, Still to
this day, he getting it in. And he, I love it. You got to follow him on Instagram. He gives us his message. He's dripping down with sweat. You're hanging on every word. And I'm like, all right. He just made me feel so bad about me eating them chocolate chip cookies.
You got anything for
Yeah, I got one thing. I want to clear the air here, and I'm going to go to you first because you're my guy.
Yeah.
In your primes, who is faster between the two of you? Ike, I want you to start because you're my guy.
Prime. See, you only have a 30 for 30 when you just do spectacular stuff. Like went to the combine and told the people at the combine, Uncle Prime I'm talking about, told people at the combine, I'm running this 40, I'm getting in the limo, and I'm going back home.
It's sort of like that. Sort of went like that.
What you ran the 40,
They say it was a 4.27. I say it was much faster.
Right. I
really do. But we didn't have the capabilities that they have now as well back then. But I know at Florida State when we had a pro day, I ran a 4. I can remember I felt so good that day. We had a pro day. I mean, I felt good. And I ran the 40. And I think I came in at like 4.23. And they said, no, you got to do it again because you have on spikes. You have on track spikes. I said, somebody give me some shoes. Who's the 10 to have? Who's the 10? Give me some. And I just grabbed some shoes and I hit that finish. When I hit the finish line, because I was talking so much junk because I knew I had it. I hit the finish line at the pro day. And when I hit the line, I said, say it. Say it.
What they say? What they say?
Because everybody was scared to say it. And everybody just looked at their clock and everybody dropped their heads. And then somebody say, 4-2-1. I said, anything else? Anything else? Anything else? I remember hitting in Florida State. Anybody there that day can attest to the story. I hit the finish line and I said, "Say it, say it."
Ooh.
That's incredible.
Ooh.
I also
That's
wanted
great.
to ask you about I read your biography, Deion. Two things stuck out to me. You used milk cartons as footballs as a kid growing up in Fort Myers. You got cut from your 8th grade basketball team. Like, what do you remember about these experiences?
Well, a milk carton, because I stayed in the projects, and ain't like we had none. Ain't nobody had none, but we ain't know we had none. Ain't nobody had none. So the milk carton, you know, you grabbed the hold of the carton, and that's what you ran with. That's what you ran with. But we had a great time. We were wonderful. You know, we were all in that thing together. And being cut, I was a late bloomer in basketball. I finished my career all-state and everything in high school, but I wasn't nice like that as an 8th grader. I was all right. But they still ain't have to cut me. But can you imagine going hyped up with your homies, and they used to put that little bull junk outside on the wall, up there, and you fight through everybody to see if your name there, and when your name in there, you just play that thing off, you just turn away real quick. You just turn your head real quick. I ain't want to play anyway. I ain't want to play. I was so devastated.
You was hurt.
Right then. I held a grudge for that school for the rest of my life. And I transferred and went to another school and did the doggone thing. But I definitely got cut. I ain't see my name on that list, man. That thing devastated me, man.
Your toughest opponent when you played. Your thoughts.
Two things. It was me. I was my toughest opponent, toughest critic.
That's one. Okay.
Jerry.
Why?
But because Jerry ran every route full speed. Like, I was in impeccable condition, impeccable shape. So, you know, man, when you bump and run somebody gonna wear down. Either you gonna wear down or they gonna wear down, because that's a lot. People don't understand it takes to bump every play. Jerry didn't get tired, man. Jerry, and he ran every route like it was a 9. And when you dealing with somebody like Jerry, that ball is coming to him at least 12 times.
Correct.
It ain't no, we going away from Jerry. Oh, we going away from you. No, that ball is coming to Jerry. That was my.
They looking at Jerry first on every play if they pass him.
Yeah, that was my Frazier. If I was Ali, that was my Frazier, man.
Okay, that makes plenty of sense.
That was my Frazier. Yeah,
that makes plenty of sense. Mark, you got anything for Ump?
We got to pretty much everything I wanted to ask. This has been terrific. And Ike, if there's nothing else, we can go ahead and wrap up here. I don't want to take up too much of your time, Deion.
Correct.
But
I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. I don't take this for granted, man. You know, that's my little brother there. I'd do anything for him. I was flying. I was doing 80 down the highway trying to get him.
I appreciate it.
Trying to get him for my boy. So anytime you need me, bro, you know you have. I got you.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. Tell the family I said what's up, and thank you. Appreciate for everything, Ump.
I will.
All
God
right.
bless you, man. And you good.
You too,
You're good. You got a good co-host, Act. He's good.
No,
appreciate
Mark,
that, Deion.
Mark is he love his research, bro.
But then you got to have that, because
he love his research.
He allows you to be you.
Correct.
Because you know, you don't need no lines in your road. They need to just let you roll, baby. I like it. You know, I like you like that. I don't like you having lines in your road. You know? Let's let you do it. You don't need no speed limit, no nothing. Just let you be you. That's when Ike said his best.
I appreciate you.
Hey,
thanks again.
Tell everybody I said hi, man. God bless y'all, man.
God bless you too, baby.
Thanks, Deion.
All right.
Thanks so much to Deion Sanders, my co-host Ike Taylor. It's crazy to think about how much of that came to fruition from 4 years ago, all the way back in June 2020, when we were all sitting around at home during the pandemic, to all this time later, and how a lot of this has come to fruition. I want to wish a happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Have terrific weekends. You deserve it. And I want to thank the listeners and the viewers of the Bleav in Steelers show. Thanks so much for tuning in and making us a part of your day. My name is Mark Bergin. We'll see you next week recapping Steelers minicamp. I'll see you then. Until then, take care and so long, everybody.